too small, I got big dreams.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pun Fun, where we have fun with the puns. My name is Ryan, and we're going to check out episode 4 of the Marvel series Moon Knight. If you haven't yet seen episode 4 of the Marvel series Moon Knight, please be sure to do so, as there are major spoiler alerts ahead. Now, we're going to get into it. First of all, we're going to talk about who is that Hippo Anonymous that we see at the end of the episode. I mean, right now, it isn't a character that we've seen previously in the Marvel's universe. However, we have quite the speculation, and it kind of confirms with a bit of its backstory. So we kind of went and did our own research onto who exactly this goddess is, and it kind of gives us hints of where the story might be going. We're also going to talk about Marc Spector's death and also rebirth. So because of Tawaret, how is he going to come back alive, and how is she important amongst episode 4, 5, and 6? We're also going to talk about Layla and the importance that she has going forward. I mean, we definitely saw the kind of moxie and tenacity she has within this episode. And obviously, we're going to talk about a few of the Easter eggs that we see along the way, as we usually do. So before we get into it, I just wanted to give a little shout out to you guys. We're almost at 100 subscribers. I mean, this is pretty crazy. I think we're like maybe 10 away. So if you haven't already subscribed, I definitely suggest you do so, especially if it's your first time on the channel. And also, you want to be on top of everything at all times, at every time. This also being said, we also had a contest. I'll explain at the every end of the episode that you definitely want to, jump on board. All right, so before we get into the Easter eggs, we're going to get into the bigger chunk, which is Tawaret. I know this is what you guys probably came in here to begin with for. So it's the hippopotamus that we see at the very end of the episode, and it's kind of shocking. This character is not actually somebody that we've seen in the Marvel universe before, even amongst the Eneds. So it was kind of weird that we would see this goddess be represented. However, we did go to more the mythology behind this goddess, or Egyptian goddess, to see what is she about, what kind of ties she may have with Marc Spector in this case. While checking it up, of course, there is the goddess of birth and also fertilization, but she's also the goddess of rejuvenation. And while we don't think this goddess is actually going to give any kind of rebirth or use Monster Reborn to bring back Marc Spector to life, I do think because this character is the kind of the person that helps give birth, if you will. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Souls, by Pixar or by Disney. That's just an example. For example, this is a limbo, if you will, before you're born, and it's kind of also a world that you kind of have to go through right after you die. So I think this is where this character can not only go from the OverVoid, which is Heliopolis, the pocket universe where all these Egyptian gods reside. She can go from that universe and into this, limbo, if you will. And that's where Marc Spector is currently into. He just passed away. He is within that soul, area, if you will. And the Egyptian people also believe that they were able, once they were dead, before they were set to trial, the stuff that they see. And again, it's not just them, because people say, your life flashes before your eyes. When you die, you kind of see everything come up before you. So in this case, this is kind of what he is seeing. Now, I know in the comic books, there's references, for example, to the 2016 series, and we'll get into that in a couple seconds. What I'm trying to say is that what he's seeing now is, we're not going to discredit the past 3 episodes, or 4 episodes, because he's now seeing everything, and we're now thinking, oh, it's a person with with mental issues that is seeing all of these elements and constructing an idea. And for the past 4 episodes, we've been seeing that idea. No, it's that we've seen him live through those 4 episodes, and now those episodes are now within this one room. And then, I mean, for sure, this place isn't real, having the lights and everything sway the way that it does. We also get Steven within his sarcophagus. We also get to see, we don't get to see Jake, but we do know there's a third sarcophagus. And as we've mentioned, there is a third personality. In this case, it is Jake Lockley. There is going to be a fight and a struggle, and we haven't seen this person yet. I guess it's going to be the grand reveal. It's going to be the character that is going to go beyond, above and beyond, and really, I guess, hammer it home. It's not going to be best of both worlds. It's really going to be the total extreme, and I think we've seen that through the means and the way he gets his jobs done. So Tawaret will help guide Marc Spector through his puzzle in his mind, get him into the OverVoid, meet up with Khonshu. Khonshu's going to be like, hey, you're back. let's bring you back to life. And then, Evan enters up this, joint, and he's going to bring back, again, when Emmett shot him, he shot him twice. So Mark is dead. You also have Steven that's dead, but he missed a third character because he didn't shoot a third time, which is probably Jake Lockley. Jake Lockley may be the last, viable person to come in, take over, have his own suit. So I'm also going to put up here which other suits we do see. I mean, we also have like a Space Ranger, we have the Cowboy, and this is like throughout time where, the Moon Knight character has existed. So having another suit, it can definitely work. The fact that like Steven and Mark had their own suits kind of went against the comic to begin with, because it's not really their suits. It was a fourth and a fifth personality. So anyways, having talked about Horus's 6 splits, if you will, there's actually the last 2 that we haven't seen yet, in this case in the mind of Mark Spector, which would be in this case Jake and his also version of Moon Knight. Anyways, it's definitely kind of a twist, but I think that's where Tawaret kind of fits in. I think we're going to see her for the next couple episodes, just because she's going to be guiding him through this whole new world that we haven't kind of already envisioned within the Marvel Universe. And we will be going on a journey towards the OverVoid to find all of these locked up gods within the Pocket Universe. Anyways, moving on from all of that, we're also going to talk about Layla. So Layla, throughout this episode has been, just crazy. I mean, throughout all the episodes, she's been badass. She's been, fun and full of tenacity. Having seen where she takes away his bingo card, for example, we do see like a bandage or like a kind of like a covering on her finger with a red scarab on it. So her father calling her Scarab as well, and also from her name, we can pretty much confirm that she will be the Scarlet Scarab. Will we see that throughout the book? I don't think so. I think we're just gonna kind of have that hint. Will she have powers? Maybe one of the gods, while freeing Khonshu, may borrow or give on to her some from the powers. So within the comics themselves, we also have a moment where Crawley kind of points out a reporter that is talking about not Spider-Man or Daredevil. They're talking about Moon Knight and a Scarlet, anonymous character, which we now know is a Scarlet Scarab. And Crawley goes on to say, like, no, don't worry about anything you hear or see. It's all just pure fabrication. Again, this is within the setting of the Mental Institute, where we, know the Mental Institute, like I mentioned before, is just pure fabrication of either his limbo world or what he believes is his limbo world before going into it. Besides this, we also see Kang the Conqueror. Now, Kang the Conqueror, and this is for the annual series, or not series, but the annual book, if you will, the Moon Knight annual book for that same year. Kang the Conqueror he tells us straight up that the scarab for the compass and also the staff was fabricated by him, and it was actually Moon Knight's past, or within the descendants, if you will, for Moon Knight, were always in his way or always kept stealing his stuff and utilizing it for themselves. However, the power of those items put together wasn't to go through time, but it was actually to control or actually reshape time. So for sure Kang will not only the them pointing out that the hoodie had obviously the logo with Rama-Tut. This is also these items being put out for showcase is also a clear indication that Kang the Conqueror was around, or Rama-Tut, if you will. Another one, obviously, there's the last pharaoh that we do get to see, and it was mentioned to be Alexander the Great. Well, who is not to say that maybe Alexander met Kang and was given these powers or knowledge in order to conquer as much as he did, or he went under another name and there was a substitute that was put into the sarcophagus in this case, rather than putting Kang inside, where Kang then leaped into time, or went on with his way. So an indication of all this and why we bring this also up, especially regarding the sarcophagus, is that the face actually has the lines as Kang himself has as well. So it could be an homage that Alexander the Great did towards Kang in order to honor him for all the stuff that he's learned. If not, it's meant for Kang, but Kang escaped and instead put another somebody within the legacy there instead. So I mean, it's very cool to see Rama-Tut put in these very subtle ways and not be explicitly shown. I'm pretty sure once we do get to see him and, you know, his full mechanized suit and everything else, that we'll have these references or maybe see these elements or tools within his showcase and all that. So again, something definitely to look out for. Now, lastly, let's just get into the Easter eggs. So for one of the, you know, very crazy Easter eggs that we see is Layla with the flare. I mean, definitely homage to Jurassic Park, and I mean, we're crazy in love with that movie. So having seen that scene, especially with the Jeeps and everything, it's definitely spot on, and we loved it. And again, she's just been crazy, especially, you know, throwing one of the flares and blowing up everything. And I mean, what a stroke of genius. And I guess, like, you would think, like, everything just went so well planned that, yeah, it could be within Mark's mind. But no, it's just, you know, things are going the way it is because I guess fate has them going down this path. So one of the other Easter eggs is the lion with the riddle. As we do know that there is the riddle of the Sphinx, so in this case, you need to, you know, answer the riddle right and you're able to be granted passage. I think it's also Disney kind of giving an homage to one of their Aladdin movies, where obviously you had, you know, the lion's mouth, and when it opens up, if you answer the riddle, and then you're able to go in and find the true treasure. So one last thing I want to touch on is the leap of fate. You know, obviously we had Layla go through the cavernous area, and it was like, you know, kind of like a little ledge, and she really did have to take that leap of faith. Definitely an homage to The Last Crusade, which was also one of my favorites growing up with you know, Indiana Jones. I think that's one of my favorite scenes, where he has to go through all of these kind of tasks, and his father kind of gave them, you know, the book to kind of really, you know, help him along his way and understand these puzzles as he went along. And we are going to wrap things up with, as we've mentioned, a contest. So we had an episode with Bryan Baugh, so an artist for Wolf and Batsy, who is currently published by Alterna. Right now, if you would actually go and check that video out, and there's contests rules that are actually in that video, you are up to win a free comic book. Signed by Bryan Baugh himself, and it's actually issue 1. So you definitely want to grab this collector's item. And yeah, I'll definitely put a link so you can definitely, you know, check it out. It was such a great interview, such a fun interview, and there's so much cool stuff coming, you know, our way, especially if you enjoy monsters and all things that go bump in the night. You definitely do not want to miss that episode as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, I would definitely suggest you hit that like button. And as always, we were trying to hit that 100. Hit that subscribe button. This way you stay on top of everything and all things at all times. And yeah, I mean, Moon Knight has just been a thriller. There's going to be a few other items that I want to bring up, like, for example, from the comic books, where, you know, Marc and Steven actually hug. I mean, that was definitely a cool homage. Well, not homage, but a great tribute that they pay. And we would definitely love to hear, what did you think of this episode? What were your first thoughts when you saw Tawaret, so the Hip Hop Anonymous, at the very end of the episode? We would love to see it in the comments below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.